Hello, Skelevaderites. Welcome to episode 11 of Weekly Weirdo. I'm really excited about today's reveal. First, I want to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. There's a few of you already here. Cobweb made sure to mention that he was driving home and would be here right on time. And then sure enough, Cobweb was here, right? So good to see you here. And we've got Bobby, Vintage Motu. Thanks so much for being here. And Duchess of Darkness, good to see you. Welcome back, as usual. Good to see you all. Yep. Bobby, do you like the shirt? You've seen this shirt before, I think. Does that tell you a little bit about what we might be talking about today? It might. So let's jump right in. I'm really excited to talk about today's Weekly Weirdo, or really, to be more appropriate, Weekly Weirdos this week. I'm going to be talking about one of my earliest favorite bands. I remember going to, I was on a family trip. We were driving through Colorado or somewhere, and we were all in the hotel room, or motel room, I should be more specific. We were all sharing one room. There were several of us, and the TV was on, and I believe it was a clip from Alive. So it was a live clip of Kiss. And it's the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. I was floored and very impressed. I didn't do anything about it. I didn't know how to find out more information. The images of the costumes and the face makeup and the spectacular stage presence, everything about it was very impressive to me. And for years after that, I couldn't tell you what songs they sang, who they were, or why I liked them, aside from the makeup and the presentation. Thanks, Duchess. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Ace, love this guy. So this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about Kiss. Specifically the Kiss, the contemporary Kiss Mego figures. There are four of my favorite figures from my collection. I wish I could say that I have the vintage ones, but I don't. So when my friend Mark, he's a big Mego fan. When Mego started releasing or re-releasing figures or releasing new figures, he was really excited. He told me all about it, and I got real excited when they said that they were going to be releasing Kiss figures. Bobby, Dressed to Kill was the first record you bought, $3 in 1983. That's amazing. This is the most recent addition to our family collection. It's one of my favorite records. I love this. I would love action figures of them in their regular suits, because what a great look and a brilliant concept. This is my favorite record to date. And I got this used, Destroyer used at a vintage store not too long ago, and it was pretty affordable. I think it was about $10. Yeah, little more backstory. The very first big concert that we took our daughters to was Kiss. They came through town. One of their more recent tours, or supposedly was supposed to be their final tour. We took them to see them. It wasn't the original lineup, as you all know, if you're Kiss fans, you know that Ace Frehley and Peter Criss are no longer touring with the band. But it was still great to see them, and it was still great to see them put on the same level of show that they are famous for. And of course, and I'm gonna sound real picky, and you can label me not a real Kiss fan if you want, but the only time I want to see Kiss is if they're in their full getup and if they are presenting themselves in makeup, right? That's just me. That was the original appeal for me, and that's how they will forever be in my heart. Joel, good to see you. I mean, Joey, sorry, good to see you. Great to see you here. And Carol, fantastic to see you. Hey, Carol, I sent you a message through Patreon. And I'll tell you right now, just letting you know, sorry for the delay on your painting, but you've got a little painting coming to you this week as a thank you for being a Patreon. And you also have a Toy Frenzy sticker coming your way too. So thanks so much for being here. Just wanted to let you know. And John from Figuratively Speaking, oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Great to see you. Fantastic, good to see you. Mr. Wonderful, great to see you. Awesome. And yeah, so Carol says, got it, thank you. All right, well, it's been a while. I had my foot injury, then I got sick, and man, it's been a doozy of a couple of months. And I'm not the type of person that likes to hold things off to the last minute. I've been thinking about it every day. So just want you to know they're on their way. So folks, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, just so you know, you'll get a Toy Frenzy sticker. You'll also get a painting or another artifact I make. And I'll send that off to you. Really, you don't have to become a Patreon of this channel. It's just, if you feel like contributing $3 here, $3 there, or a little bit every month, then you're contributing to the content of this channel and the content of the Toy Frenzy efforts. So, John, did I say hi to you? I know I sped through stuff. I just wanted to say another hi to John. Figuratively Speaking, folks, you should go check out his channel. I love the stuff over there. And John, it's really great to see you like building your content and getting yourself out there. All right, so let's get into it. So we're talking about the Kiss Mego figures. I'm going to start off with the one that was the most difficult to get, and that is Ace Frehley. I'm wearing the Ace Frehley t-shirt, and we've got his guitar here. Ace is one of my favorites, and I loved his character on the stage, spaced out, totally referencing David Bowie's Starman and Ziggy Stardust, and love this guy. I was always fascinated as a kid of his silver makeup. I always felt that looked toxic, like in the back of my mind. I always thought, and then there were rumors, right, that it was toxic. There's so many rumors around Kiss. Love it. This figure here is actually made with the blood of Ace Frehley. Just kidding. You all know about that in the comics, right? Anyways, this guy's great, and I've spoken to numerous friends. He's always seems to be the hardest one to get, and apparently he was the hardest one to get, or one of the hardest ones to get in the vintage figures as well. I'm a sucker for the vintage ones simply because, as you all know, as you may know, they have rooted hair or doll hair as opposed to the molded plastic hair that these come with. So I could be picky and be like, I would much rather have the vintage ones. Who knows? Someday I'll get deep in and try and find those. But whenever I look up the vintage ones, they're pretty expensive. So I'm really happy with the Mego figures. I love their costumes. I love that they really were careful to get some of the basic details right. So love Ace Frehley. When we went to see the band play recently being a few years ago, I wore my Ace shirt, and everybody else wore their own. My wife wore Paul Stanley. Our youngest wore Peter Criss, and our oldest wore Gene Simmons. So that moves on. We're moving on to Peter Criss here. Love the Catman. This guy's makeup is great too. The red and green really, stand out as far as the makeup goes. And Beth is one of my favorite songs. This guy's great. And every time I watch interviews with Peter Criss and Ace Frehley involved in the band, those old interviews, Ace and Peter always bring it to the interviews, man. They are so good. Thanks, Joey. Yeah, hit that like button, folks. Thanks, John, for sure. Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, these are sweet. I'm really happy to find them, to have found them. The most I paid was for Ace because I could never find him in the store. Finally found him on eBay at a reasonable price, still more than what I paid for the rest of them. I found all the rest of them in store. Yeah, it is a great song. It's a great song. And yeah, Peter Criss. Bobby, I think Peter's your favorite, if I remember correctly, the Catman. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then Paul Stanley. Love Paul Stanley. He's hilarious. I mean, I don't get on my case for calling him hilarious, but he is hilarious. The energy he brings to the stage is fantastic. Seeing him a few years back when he brought all the energy. I don't know how the dude does it. But yeah, the Starman, right? He's great. Look at the chains on these boots. Fantastic. And we got his guitar here. So yeah, Paul Stanley, the Starman. Do any of you folks out there have any of the vintage comic books? I've been like on the side kind of looking for vintage comic books. Have any of you seen Phantom of the Park? Kiss versus the Phantom of the Park. Awesome movie. And Bobby did say yes. Cool, awesome. And the Psycho Circus McFarlane figures, yes. Now, I did the previous time I saw Kiss was when they went on tour for Psycho Circus. I saw them on Halloween in Los Angeles, and Smashing Pumpkins opened up, and it was a pretty great show. And even though Psycho Circus is probably my least favorite album, it was so much fun to see them back in the makeup, doing the thing, the original lineup. And those Psycho Circus figures from McFarlane are fantastic. Really, really fantastic. John said none of the comics, but I'm sure some folks out there do have them. I'm mainly just curious if you have them just because that's cool, right? I mean, it's great to have those. Phantom of the Park is one of my favorite music films or band films of all time. It's amazing, really cheesy, but really great. And it was filmed at Magic Mountain. If you don't know Magic Mountain, that's the same park where they filmed the last sequence in the movie in National Lampoon's Vacation, the first one. And that's Magic Mountain. Six Flags Magic Mountain now. Back then it was just Magic Mountain. And then the King, in my opinion, Gene Simmons. He's great. When I was a kid, I wanted to learn how to play the bass guitar because of Floyd Pepper from the Muppets band, Electric Mayhem. But as I got older, I realized that Gene Simmons played the bass guitar, and as I got more interested in punk and glam rock, Gene Simmons really became a huge influence on me. Some of you might know, I mentioned it a couple times. I was in a punk band in the mid '90s named after IG-88, the bounty hunter. And I would dye the inside of my mouth black. And so when I stuck my tongue out, instead of there being blood, there was black. And Gene Simmons is an amazingly talented bass guitarist. To me, I feel like watching him perform and watching Paul McCartney perform is a very similar experience. Paul McCartney is far superior as far as talent goes, but playing the bass and playing those riffs and singing at the same time is extraordinarily difficult. So like watching Gene perform is always amazing. Yeah, and Gene will charge you now for this video showing his likeness. Probably, I will probably be contacted by them. And 6L, I forgive me for not being able to pronounce your name. Lix Gaming. Great to see you here. Thanks for being here. Slice. All right, slice of. Okay, I get it. Slice of life. Slice of life gaming. Got it. I'm so sorry. The X's threw me off, but that's really cool. Brilliant thinking there. That's good. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Your LOL means I'm forgiven. Gene's great. Love his makeup. It's phenomenal. Detroit Rock City, man, it's a great movie. It came out at the right time. I was starting to feel I was starting to get interested in Kiss again, and that movie came out, and knowing that they were involved, I got so excited. So excited about them being on the big screen, their music, the story, you know, the story of these kids going to try and see Kiss perform live. Just great. If you haven't seen Detroit Rock City, folks, you got to watch that movie. It's great. Even with all the controversy with Kiss and not getting along with each other and their history and rumors, I love the band. I love their aesthetic. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love the band's aesthetic. I really do like their music. I mean, if you compare their music to other bands, there are far superior bands out there as far as artistry goes. I'm not afraid to say that. But some of their songs are so catchy, and you know, God of Thunder is phenomenal. I mean, Beth is fantastic. Their albums are always great, and there's always a conceptual, there's always a concept behind their albums, and they refer to themselves and what they do in a slight tongue-in-cheek manner. They have particular, you know, characters that they play. The whole mythos behind their characters and their powers is phenomenal. Bands like this are, you know, few and far between as far as making a concept like this successful. But without Kiss, we wouldn't have Guar. We wouldn't have. The list goes on and on. I mean, there's so many bands that we wouldn't have. And we wouldn't have this. My newest discovery is Mac Sabbath, which is a Black Sabbath cover band, and they all dress up like metal versions of the McDonaldland characters. So pretty amazing. If you haven't heard of Mac Sabbath, you got to check them out. And there are a lot of great Kiss cover bands too out there. I love the idea of taking a concept to the next level, and you know, their merchandising is insane. I mean, lunch boxes, everything, right? It's crazy. So yeah, Kiss, one of my favorite bands. Also, I have to say that without Kiss, we wouldn't have the Melvins, which is like one of my top 3 favorite bands of all time. And the Melvins love Kiss, and they even came out with solo albums for 3 of the members of the Melvins that are inspired by this artwork. If you haven't seen those covers, they're great. They look just like this, except with the Melvins members. So look up Melvin's solo albums if you're curious. Figuratively speaking, John, yeah, we don't have bands like this anymore. Well, I'm sure there are bands like this out there. I would venture to say that as a parent, I know now that there are bands, there are performers, there are musicians out there doing stuff right now that I can't even fathom. There's stuff happening out there I don't even know about. But without Kiss, those conceptual bands wouldn't really have flourished as much as they have. And Slice of Life Gaming. I'm a big fan of Van Halen and Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard, and Van Halen's great too. But I have a close relationship with the band Def Leppard. I got Pyromania as on cassette as a gift once, just out of the blue from a family member, and just love that band. Love Def Leppard. I love Australian bands too, so Def Leppard fit into that category. All right, so hey, hey Ray, good to see you. Nice to have you back. I am closing up shop here. I'm getting close to the end, but thank you all so much for watching. I want to give a very special thanks to MotuOriginsCork, My Buddies Customs, Brick Something, Carol Geis, and Don Roberts for being Patreons of the Skelevator channel. I want to thank all of you so much for being here, chiming into the chat, letting me talk about my memories of these weirdos and show elements of my collection with you all and share it. It's great. I love the community that's being built around Toy Frenzy and Ostradamus Toys and Sean Scavarna and Bobby Vintage Motu, and all of you in the chat. There's some really cool things coming up for this channel. I've got a new Skelevator Snake Mountain build video. It's gonna pop onto the channel tonight. I've been working hard this weekend on that. I've also been working on Don Roberts painting. So Don Roberts, as a Patreon, you're getting a little painting, plus you're getting a Toy Frenzy sticker. And Carol Geis, as I mentioned earlier, you're getting that too. Again, folks, if you want to join the Patreon efforts, the link is down below. Feel free. If not, it's cool. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Cobb, thank you so much, man. Good to see you all here. Ray closed it and opened it. Oh, sorry, hit the wrong one. Closed it and opened it. That's right. So yeah, folks, thanks so much for being here. Stay tuned for more content coming your way. This is so much fun. I just picked this guy up from Target the other day, so maybe I'll be talking about him. Tote, the notorious Nazi from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, in vintage Kenner style. Love it. Love that character. He's so weird. Such a great character. Love the melting face of him in particular at the end of that movie. Sorry to spoil the Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark if you haven't seen it yet. All right, folks. That means we're coming to a close. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.